Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to apologize for not being with you today. I hope you're having a great time at the Congress of Education. I'm currently in Detroit, Michigan at the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, recruiting engineers for my company, UTC Aerospace Systems. Hispanic engineers. That alone should tell you how much we need talent with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics credentials in Canada, especially those with language abilities. So I couldn't pass up the opportunity to speak to you today via video, to share my story, and to offer my advice and encouragement about selecting academic and career pursuits in STEM. I was born in Spain, but Toronto is where we landed when my family moved to Canada. So I consider Toronto my city, and with Spanish as my mother tongue, I want to inspire the Hispanic youth of Toronto for a better future. This past year, I've been working very closely with the Spanish-Speaking Education Network, and I've been so inspired by their vision, mission, and passion. It's been amazing to watch this Congress of Education taking shape through the hard work and dedication of the Board of Directors and the many volunteers and sponsors that support SEM. You being here today tells me that you are interested in learning more about STEM, that you are open to a little inspiration and motivation, and that you want the best for your futures. What I hope to do for you today is help all of you, the youth, the parents, and the educators, help you make informed decisions about the future. It doesn't matter how young you are, in my opinion, it's never too early for the seed of inspiration to be planted. Once that seed is planted, we as a community have a responsibility to nurture it, provide for it, and give it everything that seed needs to grow, to take root, and to become a resilient plant. As Hispanics, we face stereotypes and misconceptions about our potential. This is not a glass ceiling, it's a sticky floor, and as a community, we have to pull together to break the patterns that keep repeating themselves. I have been an aviation enthusiast for as long as I can remember. I love everything to do with flight, airplanes, and space. I think it started when I was 5 years old. Like I said, you're never too young for the seed to be planted. I was 5 years old when my family moved from Spain to Canada. Back then, you were still allowed to go into the cockpit, so when the flight attendant gave me the opportunity to visit the pilots while in flight, it pretty much sealed the deal for me. I knew I was going to be involved in aviation in some way, shape, or form. And everything I did after that was aimed at making that dream a reality. I will tell you that the journey wasn't always a straight path, and it wasn't an easy one, but I got there and it was all worth the hard work. Today, I am in a senior leadership role for one of the world's largest aerospace companies, working at the Landing Systems Division, where we design, manufacture, test, and assemble fully integrated landing gear. And if you've ever been on an airplane, hopefully you appreciate the importance of landing gear. My love for aviation really took shape as a teenager. I joined the Royal Canadian Air Cadets when I was 14 and learned about the principles of flight, aerodynamics, and aviation. The cadets also gave me a taste for military lifestyle, leadership, and discipline. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Air Cadets is a fantastic program for youth from ages 12 to 19 years. The Air Cadets is where Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield got his start. It's a free program and it offers excellent scholarship opportunities for teens to get their pilot license or study aircraft maintenance, airport operations, and many, many other areas. There are several Air Cadet squadrons in and around Toronto, and I strongly encourage you to check them out. It was through the cadets that I learned about my options to join the military and even have my university education paid for, because my family simply didn't have the financial resources to make that a reality without it becoming a hardship. The Air Cadets taught me about being a leader, and I became the first female to command my squadron. So at an early age, I learned that being in a male-dominated environment didn't mean I couldn't rise to the top. I thought I wanted to be a professional pilot, but when I joined the Air Force, my eyesight did not meet the minimum standards. Instead, I explored other options that were available to me and picked what I thought would be equally fun, rewarding, and challenging. That should tell you something about me. I never ever take the easy road. I'm a firm believer that the harder the effort, the more rewarding the result. So I chose an engineering degree. with a plan to get my aerospace designation on a path to become an aircraft maintenance engineer. If I had taken my parents' advice, I would not have ended up in engineering, and I certainly would not have been allowed to join the military. My parents didn't come from STEM fields, so it was very difficult for them to understand and support my aspirations, never mind help me with homework. I may have settled for being a travel agent or a flight attendant, not that there's anything wrong with those career choices, but they wouldn't have been the most challenging choices for me, and I would not have come close to meeting my potential. Even when I was selected as Canada's first female United Nations military observer, to be a peacekeeper in Guatemala to oversee the ceasefire at the end of a 36-year civil war, I was given the option to work in the headquarters, but instead I opted to work out in the field, where I knew I would be challenged and my personal limits would be pushed. If you can believe it, I traded living in a 5-star hotel to live in a tent high in the Cuchimatani Mountains for the duration of the mission, and it's a decision I'll never regret. I was also the only female in the entire Guatemalan mission. Disarming guerrillas was a piece of cake compared to handling the stereotypes and combating the gender misconceptions of the other males on the mission. It's very important that you surround yourself with people that can support and encourage your goals. Find mentors to guide you. It might be your parents or other family members, teachers or staff at your schools, leaders in your communities, coaches for teams you play on, even parents of your friends, people who believe in you and can show you the way. It's important that your parents understand and appreciate why and how these people can help you map out better futures. We shouldn't be telling our children you can't do it. We need to tell our children you will do it. This message is what excites me about this year's Congress of Education. We want to inform everyone about the importance and value of STEM careers, particularly for girls, so that we encourage our youth to stay in school and make their big dreams a reality. I remember being your age. Life as a teenager can seem quite complex at times, and back then we didn't have the added stress created by technology and personal communication devices. As an immigrant to this country, especially when my English wasn't very good, I faced a lot of bullying in grade school, some of which continued well into high school. At one point, I had 3 part-time jobs, I was involved in varsity sports, and had many other extracurricular activities to keep busy. The harder the challenge, the better my results, and I worked hard to achieve a 93% average in high school in the hopes that I would be selected to go to the Royal Military College. And my dream came true. I remember the pressures of having to pick the right classes to be able to do what I wanted to do in university. And just because something is tough to do doesn't mean it isn't worth doing. Where STEM is concerned, there's no doubt about it. These are tough programs and they require hard work. But imagine the kind of world we'd live in without the precision and the exactitude in these disciplines. If we all stopped taking math because it was hard, where would we be today? Mathematics is a language, one that is spoken, taught, and understood everywhere in the world. And like any language, you have to practice speaking it to become fluent. Math is the basis for everything we do in the world around us. You'll find math in cooking, sports, music and dance, clothing design, business, space. I can't think of a single area that isn't touched by math. Math is a basic part of primary education all over the world. It can be taught many different ways, but pure mathematics remains unchanged, and it must be learned. Almost all educated people in the world have some exposure to math, and there are very few cultural dependencies or barriers in modern mathematics, including gender. Math isn't just for boys, and it isn't just for nerds or geeks. So don't let stereotypes or having to work hard at something scare you away from these areas. You're all capable of finding a love for STEM, for pushing yourself, and for discovering that there are so many options for you. Get involved in science fairs and engineering camps. Join a robotics club. Do an after-school program to explore digital arts as early as you can. If you love a certain topic, a sport, architecture, trains, banking and finance, farming, anything, find out how math plays a part. Everything around you has the potential to be a teachable moment, so exercise your mind and do a little math. More and more businesses are investing in programs and partnering with schools to offer youth a chance to develop a love for STEM. Last month, Google donated $1.5 million to Actua for programming that will reach more than 225 young people in Canada. Cisco Canada, the network technology partner for the 2015 Pan Am Games, has developed a program for their computer engineers to mentor more than 400 high school and post-secondary students to work alongside them during the athletic events. How cool is that? Schools don't have the resources to do this on their own, so these partnerships are extremely important. 70% of the top jobs in Canada require expertise in STEM, and yet less than half of Canadian high school graduates have any STEM courses in their senior years. We shouldn't have to go recruiting for engineers in the United States. We need to cultivate them here in our own backyard. You'll soon find that careers in STEM aren't just confined to technical and theoretical skills either. They also exist in the elements of design, development, marketing, sales, and business administration too. So even if you have artful creative tendencies or you have strong communication skills, STEM is an industry worth exploring because it is poised for continued growth, and that means opportunity. And it's not just confined to university. There are some amazing college programs out there too. Source out people that can help you make informed decisions. Y ahora para todos los padres. No dejen que el futuro de sus hijos sea limitado por lo que usted conoce o lo que usted estudió. Todos contamos con una red de personas que conocemos que muy posiblemente tengan conocimiento de ciencia, tecnología, ingeniería y matemáticas. Pónganse en contacto con vecinos o amigos o gente en la comunidad que puedan apoyar a sus hijos a tomar decisiones informadas para sus futuros. Busquen oportunidades para que sus hijos alcancen el potencial que tienen y que merecen. Experts estimate that there will be a projected labor shortage of up to 70% in Canada, and that translates into job choice if you have the right academic background. So don't shy away from hard work. For girls as well as boys, STEM is an exciting field, and we are surrounded by real-life examples of that every day. And all that you have here today, a tremendous advantage where you consider the cultural backgrounds and your language skills. Those will open even more doors for you. In my line of work, I know I make a difference when I can communicate with my customers in English as well as Spanish. The number of women graduating from STEM programs keeps going down despite increasing demands, so women in particular have the best chances to succeed and to turn the tide. My advice to you today is to work hard, to learn from and to contribute to the world around you by staying in school. Once again, I'm very sorry that I couldn't be with you in person. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Congress of Education. Take advantage of the amazing speakers that have been handpicked for you and the workshops that have been designed for you, and be inspired by those that have proven it can be done. Thank you.